This is absolutely beautiful. I love the power of sound, healing, and sensational people. So we've got all that here. Like it is just off the hook, off the hook. And to have that ability in one city, because all three of us are from Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, is I think it's epic. We've got so many powerful people and healers in Edmonton who are open to collaboration. I don't know if it's like that everywhere else because I'm not there. You've lived in a lot of places though, Kelly. What do
Yeah.
you think? Did you find that?
I found it when I decided to fly my freak flag fully. When I,
Okay.
became my authentic self, then I drew all that in. So it didn't mean the I lived before I came here were not full of people who would collaborate. I just, I hid a lot of my abilities. I wasn't ready to kind of open that up yet. So, yeah,
Mhm. Mhm.
Edmonton definitely found my tribe here, 100%.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
quickly.
it's a great tribal community. It really is. And there's so many different oh my goodness, spirits showing me soul groups. Like
Mm,
on a flower, there's different petals and some of those petals will overlap so that we work well together while other petals they just don't. But
I love that.
there's always a flower on every a petal on every flower.
Yes, that's a beautiful metaphor, but I think, the frequency of authenticity, it like I said, it's power. That's your personal power. It draws so many things into your life so quickly. So quickly. I remember being absolutely terrified on one side, but on the other side, I needed to fly that freak flag. I needed to get that out. And wow, it was amazing how many people accepted me for who I was, even the people who knew me before I came out. Right. So, yeah. So,
Well,
authenticity.
we tend to keep bits and pieces of ourselves very private.
Mhm.
Um, I know that when you and I began working together, because I came to you for your amazing harmonic, shamanic skills, and then I began talking to you about what I did with the Bach flower essences, not just for people, but for pets. It was a conversation we had not yet had.
Yes. Yes.
Conversations.
Mhm.
Yeah, conversations. Oh, it reminds me, Daphne, of Kitty Foss.
Yes.
Have you met Kitty yet, Kelly? That's really cute, Kitty Kelly.
No, I have not.
Okay, Kitty Foss is the storytelling astrologer, intuition of the souls. And Kitty talks about bus stop conversations.
Hmm.
So we have a bus stop conversation where we discuss how it is that we're going to show up in this world, what our strengths are, what areas we have that we want to abolish, or what areas that we want to emphasize.
Mm.
And that's how our prenatal chart shows up. Super cool stuff.
That is cool.
It,
Yeah.
it's it
Yeah.
really is mind
Kitty's
it really is mind blowing, the intricacies of it,
Mm.
and it's again talking about different places in the world and different people. And Kitty actually found me online and asked me to be on one of
okay.
her shows, and that's how we became friends. And then I started being friends with Kitty, and then I introduced her to Nancy, and it's just like you said, we all come together, and the flowers all grow together. Yet each flower is so different and grows so synchronistically with each other. It's
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm a huge
It is.
believer
It's
in
spectacular.
divine timing. So the divine timing of it is, I'm a huge believer in that. So I believe it shows up when it's necessary for you.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, and also, if we tried to learn and do every modality.
Yeah.
Wow. That's system overload. And it's
Yeah.
not being effective. Like when you worked with me, Kelly, and you were opening up the Akash, that was something that I don't open up the Akash. When I do
Mm.
SRT, I do go into the records, but I don't open the Akash the same way that you do.
Hmm. And I didn't initially until I met Deanne Rindeau. And then I, because I could already see into the cash, but when I went through her course, I honestly, the ego side of me didn't think that I would learn anything new, but boy, did I ever. And, that was very humbling. And what I notice is for me, it just makes it more powerful. But that's just for me, right? Because everything is in the here and now, right? Just like you said. So you just connect with whatever.
Is that your phone, Nancy?
Of course.
See, we all have lives, right?
It's been that kind of a day where it's just been going off the hook. So, and these are my people on my favorites list who get to dial twice and get through. So we'll let my favorite know that yeah.
Well, see, and isn't it, talking about mental health and us dealing with our mental health. Like I said to you guys just before we hit the record button, I'm just going to mute myself because I've got stuff going on in the background in my house. And then I hit the wrong button. And how many times do we hit the wrong button in life? And it's how we deal with those situations and those perspectives that make life, I see it as an adventure journey, but that's just me.
So true.
I
So
agree.
True. Yeah,
I agree. And sometimes we need to hit that mute button, We just got to hit the mute button.
The weight.
Wait, why am I talking?
I love that. Mm-hmm.
Big one. Big one. I learned that one in my animal companion end of life doula certification. Going back to university, it was pretty cool.
So I was going to ask Kelly, could you talk about some things from, I guess you could say, the mental health aspect of life? Because I know you do so many things, and you are, I see you as a magical being in itself. You say you fly your freak flag. I'm just saying that you do many amazing things that help many amazing souls. And so I guess the question would be, what is it that you find is one of your go-tos that you like to do to help people in navigating the journey of life?
Yeah. So 99% of the people, and we're all on that list as well, because we all get into that monkey mind that show up, are just that monkey mind is flying. They're thinking about their jobs. They're thinking about, money. They're thinking about, how tired they are. They're thinking about their family. They're thinking about their relationships with their family. And it just, holy moly. I remember at Christmas time, so I took 10 days off from the 21st to the 31st. And in that time, I ran a few errands around town. And I remember one day, I think it was maybe Thursday or Friday, like the 21st or 22nd. I usually am pretty well protected with the collective energies. Like I don't necessarily, I know that I don't have to feel them, but holy moly, could I feel the Christmas trauma? One day as I was driving, and it was just nuts. I mean, people were just, I could see the monkey mind everywhere. So as far as the monkey mind goes, what I love to do is, this is why I love sound so much. Yeah. Sound just kind of gets them right out of that monkey mind. And it just puts them in that state of relaxation, but it also opens up that right brain, right? That left brain is so overloaded, and really your brain is just an antenna. It's not meant to solve problems. The right brain is. Right? So it just puts them in that right brain, connects them to their higher self, because that's where we really are. We are really with our higher self. This is our waking dream, right? That we have control over. So sound is for me, and anybody can go and buy a tuning fork. by a singing bowl and just, like you said, Nancy, wait, stop, mute, right? And just listen. It's amazing, right? And then, of course, catching yourself in that monkey mind. Like this morning, I'm still working on it, but I every morning I wake up and I say, today, and I got this from you, Daphne, is going to be a magical day. And that's how I start my day. And if I find myself on that monkey mind, it helps me be aware that I'm getting on that train, on that treadmill, right? So I try to stay off that as much as I can. So just being aware and then doing
It's
something
big.
to impact it. Yeah.
It's big. Awareness is huge. And then doing something. It's big. It's so big. It's like, it's so big. It's so simple. It's so constant. And yet we fall back into patterns.
Yes, we do.
Yeah. Yeah, we fall back into patterns. We fall back into what's comfortable. I mean, I
Yes.
can only imagine what it's like. I was watching a beautiful competition last night. It was the strongman competition, and they were like pulling buses and lifting great big huge boulders that are like hundreds of pounds. Like they were bicep pressing like 309
Nice.
with an arm.
Yeah.
And when you get that patterning into your physical body or your emotional body, and we do that, anybody who's gone through any form of training, whether that's been in a formal training or just a set of, I mean, I love to swim. Drop me in the water and I swim. Drop me in the water with concrete boots, not so good, but usually I swim quite well. And that's just part of the stroke. It's like when a child is born, you see that when you put them into the water. Those are positive behaviors. They're expansive behaviors. When you bring in the dense, destructive patterns of behavior, how can we break that pattern with sound?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I believe that there is no separation between emotional and physical. We are pure electric, bioelectric energy. It's what we're made of. And and that is our physical body, our condition is based on our consciousness, which is based on the balance of emotional and physical, or the unbalanced emotional and physical. So with sound, since we are made of sound, bioelectric energy, frequency, you're healing a disorder of sound with sound, whether it's, lasers like Daphne has, which is sound therapy in its own right, right? Or whether you're making audible sound or whether you're chanting. It's truly amazing. But in the guides of Chinese medicine, our biggest evil, our biggest issue is stagnation, right? So stagnation is just the slowing down and of that energy, right? Energy is always moving. Our bodies are always moving. Nothing is still. In our reality, nothing is still. So any kind of stagnation causes all kinds of pathologies, whether it's emotional based or whether I should say whether it leans to the more emotional or leans to the more physical. Like I said, I believe that there is no separation between those two, even though we do separate them. But it's stagnation, 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 stagnation.
Well, Nancy has a portal too. She's got this one.
Wow.
Nancy has a portal too.
But no,
and
but, I mean, it's just because we know
it's beautiful. And yeah, you've got yours displayed behind. I'm sitting on my wellness mat. So I've got
right?
my portal that is attached by a cord to a mat that I'm sitting on.
Beautiful. Yeah.
So it gives the ease.
Right.
And it works really well when I go and sit with my mom if I bring the mat, because I can put it right in behind her back with the wheelchair.
Mhm.
I was using the mat with an elderly fellow before Christmas. He was in a hospice situation, and I was able to put the wellness mat behind his head for a bit and then over his very swollen leg. He had taken quite the tumble, and then to use the probes on areas. So it's my go-to. I take it with me often. It's
I
beautiful.
take it when I go to visit your mom too, just cause.
Yes. Well, and you're
Well,
right.
yeah.
Guys. Technology is amazing, but what I will say, what's more amazing is your Bach flowers. You know, anything that comes from Mother Nature is absolutely amazing for us. We are an extension of Mother Nature. The planet gives us everything we need. So, you know, that is frequency medicine all on its own. The frequency of those flowers are the greatest expression of chi.
Mhm. Well, and Nancy,
Well,
didn't you?
and go ahead.
I was just gonna ask Nancy, didn't you get into the Bach flower essence at the point in your life when you were needing something to shift your frequency
Oh, I was
mentally?
taking Bach. I had such a I was in such a deep, dark, aggressive depression.
Yeah.
So people think of a depression as something where you roll up into a ball and you can't get out of bed. I didn't want to get out of bed, but I had to go to bed. I had things that I needed to do, but mine was a deep, dark depression full of rage and anger. So you can't just turn that energy into something else like that. So I had to work through my fears.
Yeah.
My anxiety for others was off the hook. Bach helped me with that. The incessant mind chatter, Bach helped me with that. The guilt, the indecision, the changes. I was on Bach for probably 2 years before I even had the mental capacity to be able to study it.
Well, and what I'm really grateful for is how easy it is to work with you with that modality, because you've got this amazing questionnaire put together that people can go through with you or by
Yep,
themselves, and then you can look at
yep.
that and it can all come together.
Oh, the
So that's
questionnaire can pinpoint it. We can do it on a Zoom. I mean, name a way of feeling, and I can tell you one of the essences. And spirit works so well with me. We had our dear friend who came to me, and she was looking for two essences in particular,
oh yes.
Star of Bethlehem and Rock Rose, because that's what her naturopath had suggested. And I said, well, those are really good, but please consider elm, pine, and scleranthus.
Yeah.
Mm.
So she
Trees
came
are amazing.
a week later. A week later, and her naturopath said, yes, elm, pine, and scleranthus. Luckily, I listened to spirit and I ordered a second batch because I don't carry stock of full bottles, and she wanted full bottles, right?
Well, see, and that's
So,
where somebody came to me and said, "Do you know anybody that happens to do Bach flower essence?" I said, "Of course I do. Miss Nancy does." Sorry, Miss Nancy. She's up here now. So
it's
that
so funny. But it is. It's in what brings us to that part of our journey that we can use and just use.
Mm.
We don't all have to become experts, but some of us have an insatiable desire to learn more. I'm one of those.
Mm-hmm. 100%. Yeah.
I mean,
Usually,
I know.
thank you, Kelly, for taking acupuncture, because I don't have the patience to learn that.
yeah, that's a long journey. Well, so I think a good lesson from that is, you know, the human superpower is when you can see any circumstance as beneficial to you. You can step outside if you're in a really dark place, and you can see those lessons. And I mean, Nancy, you are a living example of uh, how that hard time has changed your life, but for the better. But you made it happen.
it was, I think we forget that the second that we open up our eyes in the morning and put our feet on the ground, we're making a conscious choice to live.
Yeah.
There is a lot of emphasis put on when we make a conscious choice to die. And by conscious choice to die, I mean things like suicide. Death is a common factor amongst all of us, but it takes a lot of effort to make that choice to consciously end your life. Taking that and reapplying it to living life and doing things for others can shift the way that you think about life. I always say, bake a cake. Bake a cake, share it with somebody else. There's so much in you, and if you can't see it, reach out to somebody.
Yeah.
There's so many of us right here on this platform right now.
I think one of the biggest things, or the biggest subjects that I like to teach my clients, and I'm always reminding myself, of course, we're not perfect. So, be kind to yourself. Don't put yourself down, right? That's a big one. If we have a day where, we're not happy, we're not well, we don't feel good, then it's okay. Just quiet your mind, like you said, mute, and just allow that day to go by and then start over the next day. But I think one of the biggest lessons is understanding that we are still with spirit. Like I said, this is an aspect of our consciousness here that is living this beautiful waking dream where we're learning lessons, where we're enjoying life, we're having pain. It's just all a part of what we signed up for. But I think, sorry, I'll get to the point here. I think the biggest thing that people should really understand is that being that we are still with our higher self, that energy of abundance is always flowing to us. It never doesn't flow. It constantly flows in. So abundance, happiness, joy, good health is always coming our way. And I think we need to learn to recognize how we're pushing it away, because it's always coming in. We don't have to align. That the laws of attraction, I think, are good, but they never explain enough about the laws of attraction. We're always attracting abundance, always. But, and I mean on every level, but what we do is there's something in us, some deep conditioning from childhood, traumas, this and that's pushing it away. And I think recognizing, going deep and recognizing, hitting that mute button, quiet your mind, ask your angelic beings, ask your angels, ask your guides, ask your higher self to show you what is pushing this away. And you'll get the answers.
You can ask, but then you
and you'll get it in the most fabulous fun ways. Oops, sorry. You get it in the most fabulous fun ways too. Yes. We expect this angelicness to appear in a way that may not. I mean, my angels are, they talk to me the way that I hear and listen. I mean, they're sassy, they're brassy, they're bold. I mean, yes, they are. Like they are, like, and to think that is wrong, that messed me up for a long time, because I'm like, oh, angels can't talk like that. Well, my guardian, my loved ones who've passed away, how else can I recognize who they are if they don't speak as they spoke when they were here with me?
Story.
Yeah.
I mean, Daphne, you, with your experience, right, all those years ago, with your accident, I mean, do you want to talk a little bit about that and, kind of what you learned from that and how you made that work for you?
Well, I mean, I guess people on the show wouldn't necessarily know, but when I was 15, I was involved in a near fatal car accident, and came back from a massive closed head brain injury. With that, being going through that, I mean, I was, like I said, on full life support for 2 weeks. They wanted to harvest my organs at night, but they hooked me up to full life support for 2 weeks. And when they unplugged me from the full life support, they didn't think I was going to live. But then when I did live, they said I was going to be a vegetable for the rest of my life. I was in a coma for 18 days. When I finally woke up out of my coma, they said I was just going to be a vegetable, to never expect anything else. I obviously had other plans, and I like to joke, for a turnip I'm doing not too bad, you know. But
Yeah.
something I can say is that while I was physically on this 3D plane in my coma, I was blessed to be on the other side, unlearning all the limiting beliefs that I had learned in my first 15 years of life. So that when I came back, yes, it was hard, and I didn't remember right away. I remembered later, but I needed to go through all of those things that I did in my rehabilitation so that I could be where I am today. And like I said to somebody the other day, Colton asked me, if I could go back in time and change one thing, what would I change? And to be honest, I wouldn't change one single thing for me. I mean, other than, like Nancy said the other day, getting to know somebody better. But yeah, it was circumstances in your life. Yeah, I mean, that was definitely a painful and difficult experience. I had to learn how to walk and talk and feed myself and dress myself and everything. What felt the most difficult about it? I was an athlete before that happened. I was a jock. I was riding my horse twice a day, every day. I was playing Alberta volleyball. Like, I was an athlete, and I couldn't go to the bathroom by myself at 15. I had a shaved head. I was humiliated. I had an eye that was turned out because of the head injury. It was not an easy thing. But in going through that, there was never a time that I didn't think that I couldn't come back from it. I always knew that I could. I just had to figure out how to do it.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And I love when you said limiting beliefs, right? Because I think we need to recognize when we say something, right? And recognizing it as a limiting belief, like, oh, nobody's going to sign up for my next sound course. I know it, right? Limiting belief right there. Of course, limiting beliefs are almost always about the future or the past. They're never in the now. Let's say most of them are about the future, but recognizing that limiting belief as an old pattern, as a learned pattern, as something that you learned when you were young, or through this incarnation up to this point, and then saying, okay, where did this limiting belief come from? Where is it coming from? Ask your guides, ask your angels, just like Nancy said, see what shows up for you, mute and allow that information to come in. And you may not ever really know, but knowing it's a limited belief, then you can change those words and you can say, my course will be amazing. Or you can say, my course is so amazing, of course I'll have people sign up.
Well, and like Nancy was saying, our angels talk to us in different ways. For me, they show up in numbers and actually songs on the radio, or I'll have songs in my head. I'll ask a question and I'll hear a song in my head, or I'll see numbers, number patterns to the questions that I've asked. So everybody's a little bit different, right? But, and I love how there are so many different things that one can do to help break through the mental stigma of not knowing or not being able to work through things, because like Nancy said, there's always somebody there.
Right. And I think the biggest thing, if you go to the root of all limiting beliefs, you're going to find lack of worth. Yeah. And this is something I've personally been working on for a while. Yeah. I'm getting there.
One step at a time.
Work in progress. Mm-hmm. But I think lack of worth is, and where did that come from? Did that come from being a little kid in schools? No, you cannot ask for this. No, you're selfish if you do that. Right? No, you need to give and not receive. Right? We never learn how to receive. So learning how to receive, right? That's huge, because that's where you feel you're worthy to receive. Right? That's a big one. That has many levels, that lack of worth. Right?
Huge. When you were talking about many of the things that you'd spoken of, one of the pictures that Spirit kept on bringing back into my mind's eye was when I was living in my divorce home over 12 years ago now close to 12. And I was putting affirmations up on my mirror. Had this beautiful mirror, gorgeous bathroom, big house, and yellow stickers. I am. And I had it just flooded. And my ex-husband took a black Sharpie and wrote the most atrocious things all over them. Whew. Just pure evil intent. And I say evil because when I believe that when you do something that is with intention to harm another, that is evil. And we have the shadow in our life. We have the light and we have the shadow, and there's a shadow in everyone's personality. That's why we've got Superman, good Superman, bad Superman. We've got Hulk before he warns you, don't get me angry. We've got all of those. And those are the patterns that can create the limiting beliefs. Huge.
Yeah, huge. You are so right about that. Yeah.
When care is pressing you down a bit. Care? I don't think that's right. We'll take that one off. That's a typo. Oh, funny. But we all go through different times and places and levels of adversity.
100%.
That's
And
what
that's
life is adversity.
Yes, it's never going to be out of our reality. The only thing that it will change over time as we learn to handle it is how we react to it. Yeah.
Well, and Kelly, thank you for bringing up my adversities in my life. But I mean, you had a broken back.
Well, no, I'm not a broken back. So I had a surgery that was botched.
Okay.
Interestingly enough, a low back surgery. I knew even after I got back home and out of the hospital, I was completely handicapped, and but I knew there was a purpose for it. I didn't know what that was, and I was, it was difficult. So I had unimaginable nerve pain. I had very little use of my right leg. I had no autonomic system. So I had no peristalsis, couldn't digest food. I was in diapers as well. My ability to not eliminate or eliminate had no control. I was sicker than I've ever been, full of infections. The docs didn't give me any hope that I would even ever get out of diapers. And they told me after a year where my leg was that that's where it would stay. I learned very early on in my life to never listen to what the doctors tell you, especially when it has a negative connotation. Now, no offense to the docs, right? If I saw that surgeon now, I'd give him a big hug because I did get better. And I knew I would get better. I mean, it was a journey, but the journey led me to where I am now.
Right.
So, you got to look back and see that journey is the best thing that's ever happened to you.
Yeah.
I mean, when you're in it, no, it's not fun, right? But I got well. And and because of that circumstance, this is what I do now, and I can't imagine anything else. I couldn't imagine doing anything else for a living at this point. I love
Well, and my apologies on the mistake there. I thought it was broke. I thought it was from skydiving.
Oh no, that's okay. No, skydiving, knock on wood, I have had no issues. Some overuse injuries, from making a lot of jumps back in the day, but no, it was a botched low back surgery. Mm-hmm.
Ralph and I have been talking a lot about skydiving because he dove in at Lake Eden.
Oh, and
Eden
North.
Eden North.
Yes.
Eden North, and it was approximately 12 to 13 years ago. And we've still got the video. Still got the video of his cheeks fluttering.
Fall doesn't make you look pretty, but you got to smile. No. You look better when you smile.
It's one of those things that we have on our joy list. I do not subscribe to the bucket list. I think that's a
Mm,
terrible tradition. I prefer the joy list, things that I'm looking forward to experiencing in life.
well,
Would I do that? Yes. Yes, I
yes,
would definitely skydive. Definitely.
yes.
But
Well,
um and horseback ride and whitewater raft, those are things that I've already experienced. So to bring those back in and more,
mm,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. Always trying something new. Well, the drop zone there is still open, so you should come out in the spring. We'll be waiting for you.
Yeah. Yeah, right? So
So do you
much
still do
fun.
the videos, Kelly?
Hmm?
Do you still do the videos?
No, I am not a videographer. I don't work in the sport at all anymore. Just jumping for fun. That's it. Just jumping for fun. Yeah. I was ready to not work in it anymore. I was 30 years of it. So, yeah.
Oh, you started
Yeah.
when you were 2, right?
Hey, this year or last year, I should say. Last year now was my 40th year. So,
Wow.
yeah, I know. Hard to believe, but it's pure fun.
Incredible.
And the beautiful thing about being in free fall, and I think Nancy, your partner would probably agree to this, is you are in the moment. When are we in the moment, right? So it literally puts you in the moment. Now, over time, when you make a lot of jumps, sometimes you're thinking about other things in free fall, right? Depending on what you're doing, especially filming. Sometimes I would film someone, and while I'm filming them, I think, oh, I forgot to take my clothes out of the dryer, right? Stuff like that. So you do get, but it does literally put you in the moment. I used to base jump as well, and base jumping really puts you in the moment. And I want to share a story with you. So I used to base jump quite a bit, especially when I was in Arizona. And I remember on my days off, I would always go base jump with my friends. And at the time, I remember, this one period of time I was running the skydiving school, and it was a very stressful job. And I was really overworked, and I was tired of people complaining, and just, ugh, it just really, it was a good lesson for me. I definitely learned that you have to detach. Anyway, and you can't make everyone happy, is what that job taught me. But I remember when we would hike up to this one place we would jump a lot. It was about, I don't know, probably an hour and a half before you were at the exit point. And so you're kind of irritated. You're thinking about the day before, you're thinking about whatever, and you start hiking up. And the closer you get to the exit point, the more you start to reflect and say, man, none of that stuff matters. Like, what matters is just love, loving people, being good, being kind, being compassionate. And you think about maybe someone who doesn't like you or you don't like them, and you think, man, that stuff doesn't even matter. And you closer you get to the exit point, the more those it was really interesting. This is why I think base jumping is so amazing, because the more you would release that, and it would just come naturally. I would always have the same really pleasant thoughts. And then, you get to the exit point. Of course, then you really start to reflect on everyone you love and everything you love, because you never know what's going to happen, right? And and then you start gearing up, and everybody looks into each other's eyes, and it's beautiful. Like, the bond that you have at that moment is like nothing, because you are in the moment. Then you get on the edge, the exit point, and you take a few deep breaths, you say your prayers, and you're like, here we go. And you are so in the moment. It's the most beautiful thing ever. Now, I'm not recommending that everybody go try base jumping, but it is amazing, amazing to put you in the moment. And then, you open up and everything went well, and you land, and you do your high fives, and, you go celebrate. Um, and then, you go back to your real life. What have you learned? What did I learn on all those base jumps? I don't know. It pushed me to do something that was uncomfortable. I mean, it was never comfortable at an exit point. If you're at an exit point and you're not afraid, maybe you need to reassess what you're doing, right? Maybe there's one or two people in this world who wouldn't have a hesitation, right? But yeah, you just learn to be in the moment, I guess, just to be in the moment. I don't know. I could go on and on about it forever.
Well, and we all have those beautiful moments in life where we do go into that euphoric state, the state of birthing a child, that same beauty. For a man, watching a child being born, there's a bliss in that as well. So when we realize that those are the moments that matter, we can choose to create more of them and step out of our own way. Wow, we do a good job of that, don't we, ladies?
Yes, we are very
Yeah.
good at it. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. We argue with ourselves all day long.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, over the silliest things.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
Alfredo sauce or tomato sauce. Oh gosh, along came rosé, where somebody took both, blended them together, and said, "To heck with it." Cool.
What's that word you have, Nancy, for asking everybody for their opinion and then deciding yourself anyways?
Oh, that's the sclerantherus. That's a big word. That's a Bach remedy. And where's my handy dandy sheet? I got a lot of handy dandy sheets. Because I mean, why memorize everything? For those who suffer much from being able to decide between two things. First one seems right, then the other. And we ask people for a lot of opinions too. Hey, Daff, should I wear the blue shirt or the red shirt? Kelly, what do you think? And then Kelly tells me, and then Daphne tells me, and I ask somebody else, and then I pull out the pink one that I wanted to wear in the first place. And it's exhausting for everybody. We all have a sclerantherus friend, and we're like, oh my God, don't even ask. But it becomes a
For my
pattern.
sclerantherus friend, whenever she comes to me, I just smile and I put my hands in there and said, "You get to make the decision." And she says, "Really?" I said, "Yeah."
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's so much of that in our lives. We get bottlenecked and stuck. And that's so tiring too, isn't it? It's like constipation.
Yeah.
But emotional.
Stagnation. Exactly. Stagnation is constipation. And energetic.
It is.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, get the mortgage, don't get the mortgage. Sell the house, don't sell the house.
Yeah.
And get a mortgage and sell the house and rent and buy a trailer. You can do it all concurrently too if you are willing to take on the different roles. Or you can hire a company.
Take the action.
So many.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Take the action toward abundance, not away from it, not resisting it, not pushing it. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do good things. Be a good person. Be nice. So often, and I've noticed this since the great timeout, the lockdown, the COVID, where we've got these people, I'm going to go full out. Oh my God, who's the hockey dude?
Oh, yeah.
He got kicked out of hockey for saying those people, you people.
Yes, I forgot his name.
Terry. Yeah. We have become so brave behind our cameras and so brave behind the windows of our vehicles. The guy next to you, and he's like, yeah, and everything else. And you're like, go ahead, buddy, roll down the window. I'll throw sparkles at you, right? Like, I'm going to sparkle bomb you to a point where you'll be, she just sparkled me, officer.
She blew bubbles out the window at me.
Bubbles out the window at me. But we've gotten into this constant combative energy that
Mhm.
again
Yeah.
is tiring and exhausting.
Yeah.
If we want to talk, talk.
Yeah.
But pick up the phone, talk to the person. It's so exhausting having people talk behind your back, the naysayers and the haters.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even when you're fully vulnerable. No one's going to like you all the
yeah, and I think we need to be aware that when we fall into that with another person, we're just giving away our energy, the energy we need.
Mhm.
We need to heal. We're just giving it away. We're like, here you go. Go ahead and take my power. Right. So I think recognizing that, right. And then putting a stop,
Yes.
having boundaries, right, for yourself. You got to fill your cup first. Number one.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. And sometimes you need to fill a whole set of cups.
Yeah. And
Like
what
if
is
you got a big event coming up in your life, if you got a big event coming up in your life, plan self-care. When was the last time? Like, look back on your calendar. When was the last time that you had a massage? When was the last time that you had a chiropractic appointment? When was the last time you had acupuncture with Kelly? When was the last time that you refilled your block bottles? Look back on your calendar and make a conscious choice. Because if you don't, the choice will be made for you by a loving universe that will just simply slow you down.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. So what did you call the shutdown? What did you refer to it as, Nancy?
Timeout.
The time
The great time out.
out. I love that. I love that.
Go to your room.
What
We were
Go
center
to your room and
corner.
don't come out again.
and even
6
though
foot apart.
it was difficult for many individuals, I think what it did was it stopped people.
Mhm.
Stop them, because what you saw after that time, especially the first one, was you saw people transitioning in their life, leaving, a job they had for a long time, a relationship they had for a long time, because they were seeing that a change needed to happen.
Mhm.
So, what initially was thought of as a terrible thing is actually a wonderful thing.
Mhm.
Oh, without a doubt, there was so much positive that came out of that time and space reality.
Yeah.
And the idea of going back into that is less palatable for most people. I know nobody would ever do that experience the same way again. I mean, if you don't have a bouncy castle company, you should probably get one because there'd be a lot more bouncy castles out there, right? I got a friend of mine that owns a bouncy castle. I'll just borrow his, right?
We all need-
Because I mean, yeah. Big changes. Big changes require big voices, big bravery, very big bravery. It takes a lot of effort to do the things that many people won't do. And then we label them. Those who take chances are labeled as egotistical and narcissistic. Mirror, mirror. What does that mean, Daph? Mirror, mirror.
Mirror, mirror. For me, what I'm reflecting out into the world, that's what I get back. So, or if I'm seeing something in the world that I don't want to see, I always look within myself. Well, is that a reflection of me? Or it usually always is a reflection of me in some way, shape, or form. So, I mean, I like to joke, not joke, but when, I get a compliment from a friend or something, how amazing I am, I just look at them and I say, you know what, mirror, mirror, takes one to know one. You're amazing. You're just as amazing as I am. But thank you for the compliment. But please know that thank you for seeing your amazingness in me. Like both of you sitting here. I mean, I wouldn't be what I am today without either of you. And I think it's kind of vice versa, just because,
100%.
that's why I say mirror, mirror. We shine each other's lights.
Can I elaborate on the mirror, mirror?
Yes, please do.
Yeah.
Okay. So I understand, like, but everything that shows up in your life is a reflection, but is it a direct reflection? So let's talk about that because, like you were saying, Nancy, you see somebody doing something, you're like, oh, look at that big ego, look at that guy, right? Does it mean that you have that same feeling? No. What I believe it
Nope.
is, and we'll go all the way back to being the unworthiness. You don't feel worthy to have what they have. So you're going to put it down so you can get them down to your level,
Yeah.
right? So it goes right back to being unworthy. So sometimes you really have to, with the reflection,
Yeah.
you really have to kind of dive deep, go inside, or step outside and be the observer and say, okay, why is this showing up for me?
Yeah.
Right? Do I really want this? I do. Do I feel like I deserve this? No, I don't. Well, there you go. It goes all the way back to
Yes.
that feeling that everybody has of being unworthy. And we all deal with this. I don't care who you are in this world. We all deal with this.
Oh,
That's
so true. So true. We all
right.
have feelings, and feelings are can be hurt. I mean, I've heard some of the most awful things spoken about another. I've said bad things about other people too. I'm a card carrying member of I was one time a, and I realized that when those opportunities came, the mirror was an activation of something in me.
Yeah.
Something that had now the opportunity to be looked at.
Yeah.
Just to simply look at it, like you said, observe. What is in this situation that's allowing me the opportunity? Daphne spoke about loving music, and I love music, and I listen to some very powerful men and women of voice, and we've got scars. So many of us. You look at some of the great rock singers of this world who have taken their lives, the beautiful people who spoke of depression, who
Mhm.
spoke of anxiety. Blue October is a beautiful band, and he spoke of hurt me. And then you watch his evolution in his music. Wow, powerful words.
Yes.
Powerful words.
Well, I want to just comment on Kelly and when she does her sound baths, because talking about music and journeying and circling back, I like to circle back. Kelly's sound baths are so amazing. And yes, you're right. My experiences I've had being on the table when she does a sound bath is it's like I go on a journey to like another universe. It's just hands down. It has helped me in so many ways to get out of my head and get out of my own way to allow what needed to come.
Yeah, sound is like a plant medicine. It's gonna, each individual will have their own unique experience with it. And that's what I love about it because sound has its own consciousness, just like your modalities, Daphne. And of course, Nancy, just like all of your modalities, including those Bach flowers. So, frequencies will work with your frequency. Everything is frequency, right? Not just sound, right? There's so many things that, I think in the alternative world, we could name 100 different things, whether it's a frequency device or whether it's something natural from nature. We are all, it all works with us individually, depending on what, our current state, including the state of our soul signature as well. Yeah.
There is a beauty in it. And as we go through the different times of creating in our lives, we add on to what we do. We sometimes put some things aside and say, not so much, right? Like I'm not, I just don't have this. I'm not utilizing this as much. And then somebody else picks up the um the baton in the relay race of life, and we just step aside for a little while. Sometimes it's, heal or heal thyself. Um, need help.
Well, and
Yes.
that's where you go, and, I'm doing this for
Yes.
me, and I'm learning this, and I'm doing this. So it's always and.
Yeah.
I like
And
that.
I love and.
Yeah.
And is a good one. The only but that I like to speak about is the one that's on the chair. Unless grammatically speaking, that word fits.
Mhm. That's a good one. That is a really good one. Yeah, but is very
Yeah.
limited, isn't it?
Well,
Yeah.
I like nevertheless more.
Yeah.
Nevertheless.
Yeah.
Or, I like or,
Or. Mhm.
or like when somebody says endless possibilities, I like to say infinite.
Mm.
Infinite.
Yeah, because you've still got the end in it, right?
That's why I say infinite.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh my God, words.
We can have a whole nother show about that.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Only say what aligns with truth and light. And what is truth? You got to dig deep sometimes to find out what truth really is. Yeah.
This is from your book, Daphne.
Yes. Yes, it is from my book, actually. That's a poem that somebody gave me when I was in the hospital. Actually, let me see if I can find it quickly. It's that would be a good way to end this show. I didn't know you were going to pull that up. I was like, hey, I know
I've
that.
got the rest. I've got the rest of it.
Okay. Well,
So you can just read this.
well, okay. So let me explain. When I was in the hospital and I was recovering from my head injury so many years ago, I had a dear friend of mine who happened to be a police officer coming at the time with a poem on it for me. And it was so cute because nobody knew that I had a police officer friend. Anyways, long story short. But it says, when things go wrong, as they sometimes will, when the road you're traveling seems all uphill, when the funds are low and the debts are high, and you want to smile, but you have to sigh. When care is pressing you down a bit, rest if you must, but do not quit. It's just life. You can't quit life because you're here. You wake up in the morning, you're here. Today's going to be a magical day. I don't know how and I don't know why. Yeah, and that's your phrase, Nancy. Quitters never win and never winners.
Quitters never win and winners never quit.
Right? You wake up,
Yeah.
it's time for a new day. What you make of it's your choice. And it's all about choice.
Yeah.
Love that.
That was Billy Graham. That one was Billy Graham. Try with oomph and you will triumph. I think there's an H on the end. I don't know. Oh, the endless corrections in life. And it's beautiful because we can always course correct when we think we're going down the wrong path.
Yes.
Always. So thank you, ladies. What a fun adventure this was.
Yes. Thank
Super
you.
duper
I love you guys so much. Thank you.
And I could see Kelly
Really
this month
fun.
again in a couple weeks, I think. Book it's already booked.
Sweet. Have you experienced the
Not yet.
matcha box? No. Oh, it's incredible. Mugwort in a box.
Mug in a box. Amazing stuff.
Cool stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, it really
and
is.
Dragon Box is coming up too. Dragon Boxa.
Oh, so much,
Yeah.
so much. And I love that. I love that we just keep on bringing more things into our modalities and keeping, yeah, and.
And
Today, today is the day that I am creating the emails for my beta readers. Daphne is one of them. I have 6 beta readers. I'm still looking for 4 more for the exponential joy. So I'm putting it out to 10 readers to read and comment before I hand it over to my publisher.
See now,
So
can I
big
just
day.
I love you. I can't say the word.
Sclerantherus.
Sclerantherus. Isn't that kind of a sclerantherus thing, letting 10 people be the beta readers before it goes to the publisher?
No, because I may use the beta readers as an opportunity and go directly to publisher
Or to add more,
or
I get
and yeah, like and so that I can go editor I can go me, editor, publisher, or beta reader.
Yeah. I get it.
Beta
And-
sounds more fun.
And
And
that's
yeah,
beautiful.
and
I'm excited.
Yeah, so am I.
it's going to be
Oh,
fun.
we can compare.
it's
We
gonna
can
be
compare
super
notes, can we, Kelly?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you, Nancy, for
So thank you both
having
for
me.
everything. Okay,
Thank
love
you.
you to the moon and back. So peace out.
Bye, everybody.